This is day 3, lecture 2. In this video, we're going to be talking about the average rate of change, that slope, when it's not a constant change. And we're going to look at a graph and see how we can see that rate changing. In seeing that rate, we're going to talk about secant lines and their slopes, and concavity in the distance from one point to another, and the velocity and speed. At the very end, we're going to talk about relative rate of change. But for this pre-video, I'm going to basically be covering the average rate of change up through that concavity. So let's take a look at this graph for the first problem. Given the table of data, notice the rate of change is different over time, but that the time intervals are changing at a constant rate. We're going in half a second interval for each one. That's constant. But the rate of change in height is going to be different. So let's take a look at what the graph would look like. If I graph this, I want to make sure that I use the entire graph in order to be able to see everything that's on it. So I'm going to put a horizontal line at the bottom of the graph. And that's going to be for my time. Since that time is from 0 to 2 seconds, I want to stretch that out over the full graph. So I want to go in 10 boxes for 1 unit. And another 10 boxes for 2. That means at 5 boxes, it'll be 0.5. And 5 boxes into the other will be 1.5. Now, the vertical axis, again, starts at 0. So I'm going to put my vertical axis up the side of the page. And I want to go from at least 0 to 66. And I like to make it easy to graph. So I want, because there's 20 boxes, I want the multiple of 20 that's closest to and above 66. So I'm going to go up to 80. That's 20 times 4, and I can encompass 66 in that. So now I'm going to make 40 boxes, or 10 boxes. 2, 4, 6, 8. 10 boxes would be 40. 5 boxes would be 20. And another 5 boxes here would be 60. So I can then plot these points. And again, it's not an exact graph. We will be estimating those values. So I'm going to plot these points in red to differentiate them. So we have 0, 0. We have at 0.5, 28.5, which is almost to 30. At 1, we have 49, which is very close to 50. At 1.5, we have 61.5. And at 2, we have 66. Now, as you look at these points, we could connect those with a nice smooth curve, but I want to just look at the points for a moment. You can see that that rate of change is decreasing over time. The difference between from 0 to 0.5 is much greater than the distance from 0.5 to 1, and so on. If I connected each one of those points with that curve on there, I would have what's called a secant line. And to find the slope between each one of those points, we're going to come to the bottom of the page, and we're going to find the slope, or, in other words, the slope of each of those secant lines. So I'm going to go back to my black pencil, and I'm going to find the slope from 0 to 0.5. Remember our formula, change in y over change in x. So 28.5 minus 0 over 0.5 minus 0. And that's going to give me 57. Then 0.5 to 1 would be 49 minus 28.5 divided by 1 minus 0.5, and that would give me 41. Notice it's less than the first one. From 1 to 1.5, we have 61.5 minus 49 divided by 1.5 minus 1, and that would give you 25. And for the last one, from 1.5 to 2, we would have 66 minus 61.5 divided by 2 minus 1.5, and that will give us 9. Notice again that those slopes are changing, and I can see that change decreasing. Now, because that rate is decreasing, the decreasing rate indicates a concave down. You can see that concave down on that graph. Because those rates are decreasing, our graph is concave down. So let's take a look at the questions. At what rate was the average change the lowest? Well, we looked at that and we decided that it was from 1.5 to 2. When was the average rate the largest? And that was from 0 to 0.5. With that rate decreasing, again, that graph was concave down. Now this one, example number 2, is a little different. In this case, I did not give you data points. Instead, I gave you a formula. So what we want to do is to enter in Y1 on your calculator. You want to enter 20 minus radical 5x. Now, we want to graph that according to those data points that we find. And it says to graph it from 0 to 4. So let's do a horizontal axis. And I want those 20 boxes to encompass 4 units. So I'm going to go in 10 boxes for 2, and then 5 into that box will be 1, and 5 into this will be 3. Now, I can see from my equation that I'm starting at 20 and I'm subtracting from that. That means that my graph is going to be decreasing, and the highest that it's going to be is 20. So I'm going to put my vertical axis along the side of the page, and it's decreasing from 20. So 20 boxes, 20 units. Each box will be 1 unit. So now I'm going to have 5, 10, and 15. Now, I'm going to find the values that I need to put into my graph. In my calculator, I graphed y equals 20 minus radical 5. And I'm going to go second table to see those data points. Now, there's a graph below to put these values in, but I'm going to put them here while we graph it, and then we'll put them down below too. At 0, it's at 20. At 1, it's at 17.764. At 2, we're at 16.838. At 3, we're at 16.127. And at 4, we're at 15.528. So let's plot our points. At 0, it's at 20. At 1, it's at 17.764. So So that's almost to 18. At 2, it's at 16.838, which is almost 17. At 3, 16.127 is just a little above 16. And 4 is 15 and a half. Now, if you look at those, you can see that this graph appears to be concave up. Let's see whether it is. How does this graph differ from the previous example? It differs because it was an equation instead of data points. Excuse me, data points. And also, in looking at the graph appears concave up. Let's see. So let's take a look at the graph at the bottom, or the table of values at the bottom, and we'll fill in our table that we had above. So 20, 17.764, 16.838, 16.127, and 15.528. Now, I want you to go through and do this table, the slopes, just like I did in the first example. Then you're going to answer the questions and make a conclusion. I will stop the pre-video here, and I will pick it up in class. I will give you the values that you should have gotten, and then go ahead and finish the rest of the packet.